as we're going and share it. Okay, so we're going to learn how to use Bootstrap today. Bootstrap is a framework that's used on nearly every commercial website now, and it basically is a bunch of what's called responsive utilities. Responsive utilities means that EB Games, that the content stays the same, so there is no change in the content whatsoever, but how it displays is differently. So if I go F12 Tools, that slider doesn't change, but all of a sudden it's custom for this, but all of a sudden these stack differently. And how they do that is I can tell this is a Bootstrap site because it uses these terms hidden, medium and large. So that means that there's a part that's going to be hidden on a medium device or a large device. And if I want to look at this section here, I right click it and I go inspect, right? And I can go up from here, I can see it's in the carousel, all these tags mean stuff. And ultimately I'll get up to, I want to be on the high level. It'll show me the, where's another part? I'm just trying to think where it'll actually show the columns. I'll come back to that. So we go to Bootstrap. It's Get Bootstrap. Get Bootstrap. No. Get Bootstrap. There's a link to this from the tools. We don't need to download, just go get started. And what we're going to do first is inside your where are we? Oh, if I pick the right folder. Inside your index, open that with Notepad, edit with Notepad++. So I just right click on that. Now notice how I actually select it first. Some of you are going to right click on this and it's not selected. So you actually need to select it first. So that means it's selected. Select my index, I right click and I go with edit with Notepad++. Back from Get Bootstrap, it actually has what's called a starter template. And we're just going to click the copy here. We go copy and then we paste that in. And this has actually got most of the legwork done for us. I'm going to explain this all to you now. You obviously know, you've seen this before, haven't you? That means open what? What does HTML mean? What are we starting?
Open it and then close it.
Yeah, so open and close the HTML. What's different here is there's now what's called a declaration. Okay? That means that we're letting the browser know a couple of things. This is some extra information. It's telling it that it's a HTML5 document. So that little declaration on top says it's a HTML5 document. When we've opened, we've added that the language is in English. This is used when we do when you localize a website, so you'll do multilingual. So you'll need to change that tag and change the language, but we're targeting obviously English. We then have a header. Now you'll notice we've got these comments and we're going to use those lots. Okay? It's how you're going to make, because as your website gets bigger and bigger, until you learn how to read HTML, if you don't have comments, you are going to have a bad time every time. So when I look at your website, if you go, sir, help me, and I see no comments, I'm just going to delete everything and say start again, because you will never work it out. And that's nothing against you. It is how you have to learn to do this. And it's the same when the next program we start to learn programming. Comments are your savior. So use them lots. Okay? So basically, again, this is telling the character set, which is to do with the compiler. This is actually what matters. This meta tag is actually saying some instructions. It's doing what's called a device query. It's asking for some information about your device, the browser, the viewport size, and some other details, and it's saving them to be used later. This is then saying this is the beginning of the Bootstrap CSS, and we've got a link to their style sheet, and this exists out on the CDN, so you don't need to worry about it. So that's all the CSS that you can't touch. Okay, it's already written, it's all the stuff that's done already in Bootstrap, and we're just going to improve on that. All right, title, you're obviously now going to put what here? Now, if you want to put game sales or add your own touch to that, that's fine. It could be Flynn's Games, but the essence needs to be there. All right? We'll leave hello world, and I'll get you to just put a P, test tag. Oops. All right, so it's a P. Now, we've got this optional JavaScript, which we're not using, and then this instructions here. This here is loading some JavaScript. Now, JavaScript is the program language of the internet, okay? Everything is built on, nearly everything on the internet is built on JavaScript, okay? So your Facebook is used as the AJAX stack, which means asynchronous, JavaScript, and XML. So all you need to understand is HTML is content, JavaScript is programming, adding controls, CSS is style, and later on, when we move to XML, XML becomes content and HTML becomes structure. But at the moment, you're going to see HTML as content. Okay? So we've got a little bit of basic HTML here. What we're going to add is, and it's easy just to go link. We're going to copy that. And we don't need this cross origin. What was the name of our style sheet? Anyone remember? What was the name? We named it yesterday. Something.css.
Script.
No, that was script.js. That was our control. Style. So we're simply saying load up our style CSS. Now notice it's below this. Why would I want it below it? Why do you reckon you want it below it?
So it's under all the other information.
Sorry?
So it's under all the other information.
Yeah, so what actually happens is HTML loads top to bottom. So if we put it above and we say we want to change something in Bootstrap, what will happen is it'll load our style. It will then load Bootstrap, which will then override our styles. Whereas we actually want to load Bootstrap, and then we want to create our own styles that overrides Bootstrap. Does that make sense? So it's basically, it's like saying to Zach, you say, stand up, now sit down. Okay? I want him to sit down because the original instruction is to stand up, but then I actually want him to sit down. But if I put this first, I'm actually saying to Zach, sit down, now stand up. And I'm standing here wondering, why isn't Zach sitting down? Does that make sense? Yep. And so you've got to understand that because you're actually overriding stuff. Okay? So that goes down the bottom there. Okay? So all I want you to do is then we're going to save this. We won't push it yet. I then want you to split your screen, so as we've done. And then open this document make sure you open it in Chrome. All right, so we have them. I want you to work side by side. Later on, we'll learn how to use Dreamweaver. That's a little bit easier. But I think just because I want to get you going today, so your workflow will be, I'm going to make changes on my code. Control S. I just press Control S and save my changes. I then click on my right, which is my browser, and I hit F5. And that reloads my browser. So I'll show that again. So test tag, test, I'm just going to say paragraph, right? Control S, so I've saved that. I click into my browser, F5, okay, and it reloads it. So I can see instantly my changes go side to side, okay? So everyone do that now.